We are live. The Dream Show live. Here, let me turn this head around.
Didn't the Braves do something important recently?
They won the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. They made all the touchdowns,
Yes,
right?
They hit a lot of touchdowns when they were playing. No, Braves won the World Series, man. It's pretty cool. Don't really follow many sports that much anymore, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm kind of out of the loop.
When I was younger, that would have been one of the coolest things ever. You know, all the Georgia teams doing so well and whatnot, but not anymore. We're
live.
Parkway Automotive Studios.
Peach Podcast Syndicate.
Yeah, those guys. Glad to be here. Thank you. Musgrove Trial Firm, 678-226-1994. Call your buddy. Any accidents, trial attorneys, stuff that you need some help with. They'll hook you up, get you fixed up. Clear my throat. You know what I mean? I guess we can run down the announcements part of the thing first. Should we do it in chronological order, or do you like?
Oh, you got it wrote down.
I made a list today. I had some stuff that I wanted to talk about that I wouldn't forget.
That's great. Yeah, run it whatever order you want.
Okay, so we can start with this, I guess, because of the order of things that's happening. You are going into the PGF January the 9th. Correct? That's the first.
Yes, that's the first day, the 9th through the 15th.
Is that the combine? Or is that the draft?
I think that's the first day. Yeah, I think that includes the combine. And then the draft is the same day, is it not? Is that not what I understood from the scheduling?
I believe that it happens afterward, yeah. How much do you think the combine will affect the coach's draft strategy?
That's interesting. As far as like if they're gonna, I think it's gonna depend on the coach.
Like if somebody has just like an outstanding showing at the combine versus somebody who's like a dud at the combine, do you think some people are like, oh, that's gonna make me want to draft him less because he's less athletic-y?
I mean, that happens in the draft of other sports.
It does. It does. No, it does.
You go, I thought he was a little more athletic.
It's a part of the thing this time. I was just thinking about that though, leading into the season, that could be an issue, or not maybe for some people, but as a thing that could affect your draft stock or whatever. So if you've not worked on specifically the things that are in this combine, even not even a combine, but this combine, do y'all know what they are?
As far as no, they haven't told, or I've paid attention to, I haven't seen anything that said that like what we had to do.
Maybe like hitting you with sticks while you run through a room or something.
Yeah, they're gonna walk. Hey, run a skinny post. That was my first introduction when I got to play football at Kentucky. I'd played D-line and like middle linebacker all through high school, and then when I was playing my senior year, I started running the ball as a fullback. And then I got to college, and they looked at me the very first day, and they were like, "Run a skinny post," and I was like, "What is that?" And they were like, "It's pass route." And I was like, "I'm from Alabama, man. We don't run pass routes back then."
Run.
So I have no idea what the combine is going to be. I did not do well in my college combine, but I believe that I've developed in my athleticism in my mid to late 20s more so than I was when I was 18. So
I
mean, what is a vertical? Like, if it's something like a vertical, what does that mean to a Jiu Jitsu guy?
You'd be hard to heel hook, maybe. Like people try to get you, just like jump out. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like it's interesting because traditionally, right? That's what I was gonna say. Is like traditionally, you would say that Jiu Jitsu is not for the person who would win a combine. It's for the anti-combine athlete. That's what we would say is Jiu Jitsu is for the non-athletes.
Yeah, till you run across the athlete.
But now we're talking about competition and sports and people who are being athletes and that are doing training camps and are doing like specific training for specific types of rule sets and different things like that. So
I mean, not to throw names around, but I mean, Ryan Eakin, like that dude is a specimen. Like that's an athlete, right?
Yeah. He's I mean, I don't know. What would his combine numbers be though?
I'm curious. Like, I mean, know. Has anybody ever done a jiu-jitsu combine?
He looks like a beast for sure.
I'm gonna Google that.
And so I'm just curious, what what that would do, who would win those and what that would look like overall. So that's gonna be interesting because last time when we did it, it was done like on a previous weekend or something like that, and I wasn't able
What
to.
were the events on it? Did I don't know, Keelan? I know Keelan's in here and Egghead are in here, so they might be able to tell us in the comments.
Yeah, I think
as far as what
I think there was like a pull up. I think the long jump maybe.
So long jump. What does long jump tell you?
How
Egghead said season 1 and 2 had combines.
Yeah, but season 2's combine, I guess, is the one I was most familiar with.
Okay.
Season 1, did it have a great turnout for their combine?
I have no idea.
I know it got more points for people, but this time it's kind of mandatory part.
Yeah,
of the
you
show.
have to be there.
It's on day 1 instead of earlier time where you could.
6 p.m. Sunday is the ceremonial weigh-in and combine, according to Egghead.
The combine's right after the weigh-in.
I believe so.
Well, that could affect somebody's numbers.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Broad jump. Long hang.
That was about to be a really bad joke.
broad jump. Long hang from a pull-up bar. I guess that's 2. That's the 2.
Yeah, that's it. A broad jump and how long you can hang from a pull-up bar?
Yeah, I guess. That's all he stated in the comments. So
maybe he's digging out the facts there. Interesting.
I mean, I could see long hang. I mean, that means that homie's probably got grip strength. He's probably got shoulder dexterity, broad jump, leg strength. I mean, Quadzilla that's going to be in our this next season. I would be interested to see what his broad jump is, just because I want to see what those thunder thighs can do.
Yeah, it's going to be cool to see, I guess, now that everybody's forced to do it, what it's going to look like.
Cone he's remembering as he goes. Cone drill was another one.
Is it like the pacer test or whatever? The beep test?
Yeah, I think it's the if you hadn't said that, shuttle test. The shuttle.
I think, whatever.
Where you're like, yeah.
Interesting. That'll be fun to watch. Yeah. So
how do you think it'll, or I guess I'm trying to flip the question around on you, but like, I think there's
certain people that I would think that you would say, even if he didn't have a great showing, it wouldn't necessarily matter if I would pick him or not coming into the thing. But then I wonder if somebody maybe could be shielding an injury of some sort on the way in, and they don't have a good performance based on something like that, or whatever,
heavyweight cut
and something like that could be, and it's only one weigh in for the week. So that could be a real benefit for some people towards the the later part of the week.
Ooh,
towards the end of the week.
Word.
Yeah. Try to put later and end together. The
compound words. Don't phonics kids.
The English language is easy to do. It's really easy.
Light belch.
Yeah. So I think you could see a lot of reasons why people could maybe under or overperform in this way. And maybe some people want to really show out to get a higher draft point because that does pay you more money automatically for the week.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that I think is the difference, is that it's the payout. But I mean, do you think guys like, I mean, I would imagine from knowing Sean from a distance that he's like an analytical guy, so he'll take that into consideration. The Elkins brothers are kind of from that college wrestling and MMA world that's pretty familiar with looking at those type of things. So I mean, that could be things that weigh in those kinds of guys' minds. Maybe not yours.
In my role, no, for sure. In my role that I'll be doing, it'll definitely be something that we'll have to look at and analyze. As an analyst, I'll have to.
Stephen Eakin, Jiu Jitsu analyst.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's what I'm saying. Like, so as a whole thing, this will be fun for me. I'll be up there. As of right now, maybe doing a little bit of the commentary, but definitely doing some like analyst stuff or whatever, kind of helping like keep the flow of the shows going somehow. Whatever it's kind of going to take to fill the best role to make it the best, overall deal. That's kind of what I told Brandon I wanted to be able to do.
Push-ups was another one.
Oh, how many push-ups you got?
I mean,
a lot.
Yeah.
You missed that. You missed.
I had the soundboard pulled up too, but I just don't remember which color was a lot. So
it's okay. There's a lot of colors.
There's a lot.
So I'm excited for it to go up there and see another iteration of it this time with the 170s with some familiar names in there.
And the speed of 170 is a little bit different than like the last one we saw. Like I mean, everybody in the qualifiers, you saw quite a bit of wrestling and quite a bit of like scrambling. So I think it'll be kind of a high pace type week, don't you think?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe there'll be a little bit more like scramblability in the room overall than there was in our group, because we did have some of the bigger dudes that were a little bit more patient and didn't really get out there on purpose to throw down, because they wanted to save that, you know, for when they needed it most, myself included a couple times. So yeah, I definitely could see where that's something where maybe even if a person would want to maybe take their foot off the gas a little bit, they wouldn't be able to against certain opponents, even because of the wrestling pace and style that they'll carry. Even if their jiu-jitsu may be better, there's some really, you know, good wrestlers coming in that are hard to finish, and especially in a 6-minute match, you know, where there is no OT, you know, there's no do-overs and get back. So it's either 6-3-0, you know, or I guess if you get the bonus point, you can get that. But, you know, so it's going to be fast paced. It's going to be pretty wild, I think, for a lot of people. And I'm interested to see how many people are going to really go like quick like break strategy to go ahead and get in there and get that 4 instead of like wasting any time and just get in there and mix it up like that. Versus if we do see people move past something to get to another thing. How many guys are from Atlanta on this?
I know off the top of my head 3.
3, and then plus Elijah's going to be in there, who's also super affiliated with them, who knows each other. They know each other very well.
And he's a quick, like his quick breaks are really what has put his mark.
Right. And so, but seeing them match up against each other, knowing a lot of the same strategies and techniques and stuff, will they be able to stunt each other, you know, to thwart each other for 6 minutes?
Will they all wind up on the same team?
Can it take, I mean, can they all end up on the same team? I wonder
how the draft works out. Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that could be.
Some of these guys have their guys in the tournament. So like what would be weird would be seeing like, you know, even, I mean, let's go super deep on this. If the Elkins brothers have their brother on an opposite side of the
He's a blue belt though, right? And so he would not be my first pick.
Yeah.
You know, so in that way, it's like, you know, if somebody else was like, all right, I've already picked who I think is my first or second guy or first guy, maybe they think Marcus would be a good addition to their team overall, you know, and they don't want to have that, you know, or they do think they want to have him on their team, whatever the case is, you know, and he gets picked up by somebody else. That could be very interesting because the other team knows him very well. And would they coach against him in a real way? And you know, what would that look like and stuff like that for the,
my personal opinion is I think they will.
I do too. I was trying to tease the show, but that's okay. I think they will.
I mean, I didn't mean to ruin your joke.
Sorry, man. I'm just practicing too. We're just out here. We're getting reps.
It's practice.
It's cool, man.
Practice.
It's just practice. So it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be really exciting to see, and hopefully everybody's able to stay healthy throughout the whole like killer week to get to the tournament final, and it's the top 8 going EBI rules, right?
Yes.
With a final that is no time limit.
I think the only time limit is the final.
So yeah, so PGF.
That'll be interesting too, though, because at the end of the week, you just did a whole week. Y'all had how much time between your finale and the week? Yeah. Bro, like
I would have liked to have had our tournament at the end of that same week.
Because of the momentum?
I think I would have been better off right away versus other people who made the tournament, maybe. Maybe not everybody, but a few people. I was more healthy then and more fired up then. And so, talking about you, Matt Elkins.
I was gonna.
So, and other people too, though. You know.
No, yeah, everybody would have banged up,
and so maybe some people wouldn't have even made it to the tournament that did. Perhaps if we had to go that way, some people would have had to maybe rotate in and out. Because based on some people were battled up pretty bad, even if you didn't know it from the show. So I think definitely I would have liked. We even talked about it. I would have liked to have had another shot that week when I had it fresh on my mind and had the energy still
in the same mode. You didn't have to switch in and out.
Come home for 3 months and deal with TV
the emotions
shows and shit like that. So go ahead, come out there, chop this fool's heads off, and then come home victorious. That would have been the way. Get some redemption, maybe got another shot at Elijah real quick or whatever. You know what I mean? While the ball was already rolling, but as it was is how it is. And it was still a really great experience for me. And so I think it's going to be a great experience for everybody that's going to be a part of it this time, because if you've never done that, it's still so unique of a format to go out and grapple so many times. And especially now with the tournament being at the end of the week, it's kind of, a new, for sure, element to that, where you've got to be able to stay healthy too. If you want to actually like win the whole thing, you can't get banged up too much going through the season.
Just sending it. Yeah.
Because then you will have to fight your teammates in the tournament, right? That's going to be a thing, right?
Yeah. I would imagine it's whoever the top 8 is, because it's going to work out by points, right?
So could 4 of the top 8 be on from one team?
I'm not the greatest at math, but is that possible?
I mean, if they never face each other and they beat enough other people, then I guess statistically that is definitely
possible.
Egghead. They could go undefeated. They could all go undefeated if they don't have to fight each other and they beat everybody else. So yeah, I guess that's technically possible.
Half the bracket could be a team.
I guess so, unless the commissioner says that there's like an East-West or some kind of whatever way where they can't do it that way. They'd all have to beat. I mean, maybe they, 2 and 2, maybe 2 from each team. Top 2 from each team makes it instead of the
Egghead
top 8
said
overall.
Yes, it's possible. Ooh, that's interesting.
So that's the thing, right? So you may get through the whole thing, and still have to face, really tough people that week that you haven't even faced yet, maybe. So
by the numbers alone, I'm not good at numbers, Egghead, so I'm trusting you.
No, I mean, it makes sense to me that you could.
When you started describing it, I was like, yeah, that totally makes sense.
If they can beat everybody else and not lose, they don't have to face each other, then they go undefeated. If you have to face each other, then you by nature cancel each other out.
So if you had to pick 4 out of the, like, off the top of your head of who's competing, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but if there were 4 that were going to run the table, who would they be?
You obviously have to go with Elijah as one of the
he's running a favorite.
Yeah. And it would really matter, I guess, what teams they landed on.
Yeah, who's their coach?
Probably Gio, if I had that guy.
Okay.
Probably Kevin Sherrill.
Yeah, he's been impressive. He got his purple. He was in that batch that like got belted, right?
Yeah. He's a really strong wrestler. Also,
I saw his wrestling in Atlanta.
That helps him dictate the match more. Some too, you know what I mean? And then maybe
Egghead says Elijah, Leak, Gio.
I was thinking Leak
and Primo.
Oh,
my bad.
You thinking
Kevin.
Primo's gonna run the table?
I don't know, man.
If he got on the right team, I guess. If he got around a couple of the matchups, that would be trouble for him. Maybe so, because him at 170 is going to be a problem, because I've heard he's really healthy and he's not talking much. So that makes me believe it. So, yeah, interesting. Maybe so. And I was thinking Leak a little bit also myself. Yeah, so I think that would be my top 4 to 5.
Egghead said that. Yeah, he said that he didn't mean to, but he left Caleb and Elbow Genie out. So
dang! I totally forgot about those guys. Yeah, never mind.
Man, this is gonna be a wild season.
Dang, I totally forgot. Yeah, so on the spot without a roster in front of me.
Yeah,
there's so many people. I guess I could pick in the right situation that could go undefeated on the right team. If they don't match up against a certain persons, 2 or 3 of them end up on their team. All the people that could beat you end up on your team.
And there's a month of getting ready between now and then too.
I forgot about those dudes, man. Sorry, guys.
And holidays, bro. So, you got to stay in the competition mode right up to the first 2 weeks of January. Make weight
if you're heavy. Interesting, yeah. And so yeah.
How many people are trying to make weight? Do you know? I haven't heard. I know we all know Kevin is
20.
Oh, okay, 20. Fair enough.
So that's a good thing. I forgot about those guys too. So yeah, Caleb, Elbow Genie, I think they could both go undefeated in the right situations. Dude, that would be like a real power team. You get Elijah, Caleb, Jonathan on the same team, that's almost impossible. So statistically,
dump truck Randy Roden's in there too.
I think he'll still be a problem for a lot of people to handle. And I love Randy, but I want to see what his finishing capabilities are still going to be like at 170. Like,
well, I mean, speaking of,
he's still going to be hard. He's going to be hard for people to finish for sure. But now I want to see if he's going to be able to transfer that into some kills, more now, instead of being, the guy that was like giving us all a really, really hard time, but, wasn't able really to get many shots off. I want to see if he's going to be able to take shots at people now. That's the only thing that has me a little bit reserved about choosing Randy as an undefeated like fighter through the season, especially now with the 5 names we just talked about. They could all beat Randy in a straight up match. Most of them could probably almost beat me in a straight up match too.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about this season. There's so many deep guys. I really haven't even thought about Jonathan or Caleb that much. Yeah, man, I'm excited. January 9th through the 15th, the PGF season 3.
Oh, and Ege was just saying that he meant that Randy was one of the ones cutting a lot of weight.
Okay.
Like, yeah. He'll be 170 for all of 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
Them legs, he pulls those plugs out the back of his legs, and I watched it happen in Atlanta. They just whoosh, and then like 30 minutes later, he just got giant thighs again.
Okay, so
moving on
chronologically, skirt.
Man, checking off list.
Mid-South Classic, January 29th, here in Perry. We're running it again. We're going to do 16 people in the bracket this time, 16-man open weight purple belts. So there's some guys that are coming in that are going to be much over 200, and there's some guys that are coming in a little bit under 200 that are going to be competing purple belts and under. So there'll be some guys that are probably blue belts in there. I got like 20, 21 names. And so I got like a little like reserve list kind of going to where, not everybody's able to just get into this one, which has been really cool so far. Because before we've had some trouble filling the brackets, but I think making it that solid 2K number is a lot more to come out for.
I mean, that's a good day.
Yeah,
it's a good day.
Yeah, and so it's only one more match to get another $1,000, right? If we added instead of going from 8 to 16, it didn't add double the amount of matches. It only added one more match to the day for a chance to get another $1,000. So yeah, I think it drew out some more people, and forcing it to be like purples and unders gives some of those people an opportunity to come out and really feel confident in their chance. Because like I've gotten several people like who sent their buy-in. Now they're like, yeah, this is just you're just holding this for me anyway until I get there. There's been like 3 guys that have said that. So if you said that to me and you're watching this, you're not the only one that said I'm just holding the money for them. So I will be training very hard if I were you in preparation for this, because there's other people that are trying to recoup that money first of the year right there, that 2K, and get the Mid-South Classic title, man, which is on the come up. That's we our last champion went on to win Combat Jiu Jitsu Worlds last.
That is true.
So yeah, and that'll be brought to you by Musgrove Trial Firm and Blind Lincoln Productions. My guys, it's going to be out there on the 1s and 2s, the wheels of steels, if you will. And we're gonna have a good time, and we're gonna do it in the gym again, and we're gonna go by the EBI rules with the new like stalling oriented calls, to where if you're trying to purposely stall to get to overtime,
to make it to overtime,
to try to get to overtime on purpose to win, because you don't think you can get to a submission spot on somebody, but you're not engaging in the match, there'll be maybe a warning. And then after that, there'll be a 1 minute penalty added to your overtime. If it makes it that far, you'll automatically start with a 1 minute penalty. Then second time will be another minute. So that'll give you a 2 minute penalty, which is basically one full overtime penalty. And then if there's a third one, that's just going to be a disqualification, right? Which is going to hopefully be super extreme. And man, I would be really sad if I have to do that. Because I think I'm going to put that pressure on me to be the one that makes those calls from the sideline, and not put it on the referee, and let them just like ref, and I'll maintain the
commish of the Mid-South.
Dictation of it. That way, if anybody's mad, they can be mad at me If they want to fight, we can talk about it like gentlemen and not fight each other, because it's silly to fight about this stuff. That's why I want to give that one good warning and let everybody know. And we'll talk about it before the tournament or whatever to let everybody know, I understand needing to establish position and all those kind of things. So there'll be, respectful amount of time given to control, for the things that you need to do, right? Because you need to be able to control people to get to the finish line a lot of times. So it's not about asking you to not control positions and just scramble the entire time, but it is for the person you can tell. You're just like, oh, man, this person's just trying to get to 10 minutes on purpose.
Yeah, and they're just riding.
We're just wasting everybody's time, basically. And so we want to like combat that as part of the style, and it'll take away a lot of the complaints about what people are and are not doing in some of the things. So I'm super excited. Like I said, there's been so many names that have come through for it. We're getting people from different parts of the country actually that are wanting to come in for this one. It's not just going to necessarily be local. There's going to be some locals, but we got people that are like flying in from other places. So it's going to be super exciting.
Up.
Yeah, and it's to the competitors. You know what I mean? We're just out here doing what we do anyway, and they're the ones that are wanting to step up and put on a show for everybody. And so that's what we're going to do too. Is we're going to step up and help them put on a show, help maybe get some recognition out for them, and build the style, the EBI rules style up, the submission only style that we like to have over here, and give people an opportunity to make some money as professional grapplers in this area, because man, it's a beautiful thing to see people go out there and work hard and earn a living and pay some bills or whatever with their art, of various kinds, and especially the one that I love the most, which is Jiu Jitsu. So Mid-South Classic, January the 29th, 16 people this time in one bracket. It's gonna be $2,000 to the winner.
Live and free,
man, on YouTube. So if you're here now, make sure if you're on my channel, you come subscribe. If you're on Brandon McCatherin's channel on the BJJ 365 station, come over to my channel. Make sure you subscribe. We'll be live on there with that January the 29th. So that is number 2 of the things.
Man.
That's what you do when you're handling business. You make a list and you check it twice. All right. After that, February the 12th. And you're going to love this. February the 12th, Gio Martinez, Freakazoid's coming to Perry, Georgia. He's going to do a seminar. It's going to be one seminar, just one. Okay. Nice. And we're going to cap it at like 30 people, something like that. Maybe 35 at the very, very most. If somebody's like very cool, really, really, really cool, and somehow made a mistake. So don't make a mistake and get left off. I've already got, let me look at this list so I can be honest and not act like I'm telling a story.
Do we know what he's going to be teaching yet, or are we going to keep that secret?
13. I don't know what he's teaching yet. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more. We just figured it out. 13 people are already registered of 30. This is February the 12th. So you need to get with me and let me know. It's $100 for the members of our gym, $125 for outside members. We're only going to do one seminar. I don't want to feel crazy rush to like get everybody out and do another one or whatever that is. I want to go ahead and have a good time, do one good session with Gio. He's super cool. It'll be really fun for everybody to get to interact with him, see his style up close, and get to hang out in a smaller, controlled environment, where the more intimate 30-person kind of deal. So yeah, February 12th. If you want to get on that, you better let me know like ASAP. Like I said, it's already about halfway done, and we haven't even really got many of our members on the list yet. So yeah, that's gonna be it for February. So we're trying to start the year off hot. We're trying to get things like popping. We got the PGF, then we got the Mid-South Classic, then we got Geo coming down for a seminar. Then we're announcing now. Just announcing now.
Dum, dum.
We've been waiting, but one of the other coaches for the Dream No Gi camp next year is going to be Sloan Clymer, black belt out of Legion Jiu Jitsu, American Jiu Jitsu, black belt in Eakin Cornelius. He's a good friend of mine, the Caveman. Really dope grappler, really tough guy. He's going to come down. He's going to teach. He's going to spend the week with us down there in Costa Rica, along with myself and Kendall Roosing and one other coach. We're going to have 4 this time, and I'm going to reserve the name of the last person until we get much, much closer to it, just because that's going to be like a bonus.
Did you already see the dates?
October 9th through the 15th, 2022. So yes, we've already got 3. Myself, Kendall Roosing, and now Sloan Clymer has been announced as the 3rd coach for the Dream No-Gi Camp 2022. It's going to be so much fun to go back down there now with a good plan and what we're going to handle, how we're going to do everything. New coaches, new instructors, and some of the familiar things that we love to do. And so, I mean, I can't wait. I love going down there. I wish I could go like 3 times.
Bro, I just saw a picture on Lorenzo's Instagram, and I messaged him like he was like on the beach, like at the end of a surfing day, and he just did like a little like video of like whoosh, like looking at it, and I just messaged him. I was like, bro, I need to come back. He's like, oh, anytime, my friend. I was like, oh, I want to go.
Yeah, anytime, right? I wish I could anytime.
Anytime.
So Sloan Clymer for the Dream No-Gi Camp.
Boom, the caveman.
Boom. It's going to be super fun. Super, super fun. You don't want to miss that. So you need to get on that, thedreamnogicamp.com. We got a website. You can go there. If you need some more information, feel free to hit me up or go on Instagram at Dream No-Gi Camp. You can message that page. We'll get back with you there as soon as we can. Mid-South Classic, like I said, if you're interested in that, everybody go follow that page on Instagram. Also, it'll stream live off of my YouTube January 29th, 2022. That's like the announcement parts. That's a lot of announcements, but we got a lot of stuff coming up.
There's a lot going on.
There's
a little discussion of it.
Yeah, we got to talk about the stuff that's going on, right? Yeah. So now, hot topic. Maybe not to anybody else. I saw this thing. Okay, I was on maybe Facebook Marketplace. All right, and so this is a question. I'm sorry if this is going to be weird for people, but it's a legit thing.
Yeah, legit question. Okay.
I'm curious. So when you wake up at night and you have to use the restroom, do you like turning on the light, the light in the bathroom to go use the restroom, or does that wake you up? Do you try it and wish you didn't have to turn on that light?
I mean, in the house I live in now I think about it, I don't turn on the light.
Or do you have a night light?
No, I don't have a night light.
Is it dark in there?
No, because I live in the city and there's literally a light right outside the window of my bathroom.
Okay, so you can see what you're doing in there.
My wife would argue that I don't.
Okay. So like you've seen those little things like that would hang over the side of your toilet that have the little like deodorant ring soap thing on it. You've seen that before, right?
Okay.
So now this is a thing that has like a little battery pack on it. And then it's got like a little wire with a little LED light on it. And on the outside of this thing is a motion detector. And so when you walk in, that little light's curved over into the bowl. It lights up the bowl only when it's dark and only when it's motion detected for 2 minutes at a time. Is that a good or a bad idea?
Who has to change the batteries?
I mean, I guess you would. It's your bathroom. I mean, you got to, who has to clean up the place?
I mean, I get what you're saying, but that more of what I'm pointing out is that once it's in there, I don't really want to touch it again.
I mean, it's not all the way in the thing. You wouldn't have to touch the part of it that's like in the thing.
Yeah, but I mean, no part of a toilet's clean.
Right. So you still have to clean it though, but that's what I'm saying. So now you can see though. No? Did I miss on that one? Okay.
Egghead said when he turns on the light, it wakes him up.
That's what I said. So I was looking for a way to avoid that part of it and also make sure that I was, doing my best as a man in the house to make my lady happy and not miss. So
I go with old trusty sonar.
See, that's definitely unreliable. That's super unreliable.
There are moments where you're like, what?
That's been part of the problem. You know what I mean? Sonar is not a reliable method to achieve the goal. It's successful as you do it, but it's not the right entry.
It's the start that gets everybody.
That's the worst part.
You don't know. You're not quite sure.
And yeah. So I'm just,
What about hear me out? What about laser sights? Then you eliminate the whole thing.
Who's got laser sights?
I mean, you just like have like special underwear you wear when you go to bed that has like laser sights on it.
On what?
To help you acquire your target from your barrel. I'm trying not to get us pulled off.
That sounds way more uncomfortable and like unreasonable.
I don't know. I mean,
how many pairs?
I know these underwear companies out
like
there
a bunch of nighttime underwer that you would wear with like LEDs on them and shit.
So hear me out.
You like sniping people with your fucking underwear.
So hear me out.
I don't know if I want to.
There's all this underwear out there that's on the market that has like special pouches and everything. Why not put like a like you're talking about, like a headlamp on the pouch?
That would be uncomfortable.
Yeah. I mean, they're making batteries smaller and smaller now. It wouldn't have to be a big light. LEDs are like, you can make like a little tiny LED, like, or a laser. I mean, what I was talking was laser.
A lot more extreme than what I was saying.
I mean, I take everything there.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So like, as far as ideas go, maybe you do need lighted underwear.
I don't know. Are people buying this nightlight?
I bought one.
Oh, okay. Can we expect a review?
I've liked it so far. That's what I say. I've had it for about 3 days, and it's been nice.
Have you used it in the most like crucial moment yet?
Oh, definitely. That's what I'm saying. It's came through clutch because as soon as I walk in,
we are not sponsored by the P light.
But I mean, maybe we can go with a better design that has the battery that you could do it on your own somehow. I don't know, without having to.
What about a solar powered?
That would be okay, I guess. But then there's no solar power at night.
My dad's so proud of you right now.
What?
As soon as I said solar power, my dad would have been like, "Yeah, but what about at nighttime?" And so the first thing you said was, "Yeah, but there's no solar at night." And I'm like, "Oh, he would be so proud."
Yeah. So how would you charge the battery of this little thing at nighttime with solar? You have to do like some Tesla stuff.
Elon.
You're not that guy, pal.
Elon could solve this problem.
You're not that guy.
I mean, he's digging tunnels. The real problem is the illumination of the toilet bowl.
The Illuminati.
Of
the toilet bowl. Oh. That's who's wrong. They don't want you to see, man. That's why they're trying to control you. They don't have lights in your toilet. They're trying to control you. If you can see the light, then you would be more on target. That's all I'm saying.
Did you ever see the time when they started putting video game pads in the back of urinals at bars, and like you could play like a whack-a-mole game on a urinal?
I didn't see that exact thing, but I did see where they started putting like a fake little bug or whatever on the thing to give you something to point at, to give you direction, if you will. So this is a type of problem that people have universally.
And there's not a lot of solar when there's indoor plumbing.
Who said that?
Because you're inside. Egghead.
There you go. Egghead. Clutch.
Garrett's saying use your phone light.
Garrett who?
Our Garrett.
No, then that means I gotta pick up my phone and walk in there and turn the light on.
Yeah, that now means that you've had your phone in your hand while you're going to the bathroom.
Might as well just wake up then at that point and start doing whatever. No, that's too much work.
Checking your TikToks.
I want to walk in there. The first light that comes on is red, and so it's like it doesn't really brighten up the room too much, but you can see like a red.
Oh, so it's like a little submarine, like
just like it's boom, and then it kind of starts changing colors. I don't know. Maybe
you 571. Like going. I don't know.
It's cool, man. Listen, dude, it was only a couple of dollars, so maybe it's gonna last a little while. Maybe I throw it away after the first time. I don't know, but I feel confident after a night about 3 or 4 that this is gonna make me be a more successful man in my household. So I'm just suggesting that to everybody out there. It's free, whoever they are. I don't even know the name of this thing, so I don't even know where I found it. I think it was on the Facebook Marketplace.
Just look for a toilet light. Wait,
like,
Facebook. See, like what I think about Facebook Marketplace. My first question.
Smart.
My first question from you is it new? Because you said Facebook Marketplace. A lot of times that's where people sell.
No, definitely not, man. They sell all kind of stuff now.
Okay.
From like the Chinese.
I believe you.
New stuff for sure. Everything on there is new now.
I mean, now you just allowed technology into yet another place.
Well,
the toilet. Is that a place where technology should be?
Technology's been in the toilet, man. People have been reading magazines and stuff there forever. Newspapers and stuff.
Yeah, I used to take my laptop with me when I was in high school.
Right. See? So you took your phone in there today. On the way here.
Well, I mean, not on the way here, but
yeah you did. So I don't know. That was just a thing. Mandy was like, she was skeptical about the whole idea, and I was a little bit down. That I thought I was trying to do a nice thing for both of us, but you know,
You ever had a beignet? No way.
the little dough things from New Orleans.
No.
Oh no, that's like the little white things, right?
Those are big. I don't remember. I don't
It's a beignet. That's a beignet.
Yeah.
Mandy loves those things, but she would not want me to have those in the bathroom at night. I don't think that's the move. I think you mean a bidet.
Bidet, that's what I meant to say. As it came out, I was like, that's not right. I'm sorry. Oh, we just lost like eight viewers. Sorry.
Sorry. I'm not sorry. That made me laugh. So everybody else that didn't think that was a good one, it was not on purpose. So you can enjoy other things.
I'm sorry. We had one of those in one of the buildings we had, and I was trying to take it out. Like we were trying to take it off the toilet after we had bought the place, and my wife was standing behind me, and like it shot out and like hit her in the face over my shoulder, and she's like running around the house like toilet water. That was my only experience with one of those bidets.
That sounds exciting.
It's French.
It's French for water in your butt.
Fragile. Anyways, was that on the list?
Yes.
Oh my god.
That was the first thing on the list.
Woo.
I was ready for that one. That's what made me start the list, so I wouldn't forget that today. I was like, and then other stuff. I was like, all right, toilet light.
And other things. Oh man.
Miscellaneous Jiu Jitsu.
Okay.
I don't know. That's for my like one true fan, whoever you are. You'll understand that topic more than anybody else.
That was great.
Yeah. So, and then beyond that, there was some UFC stuff that happened this weekend. I'm not super.
What was your take on the one that you were watching when I walked in, the Nunes? Like, what was that was the big news one. I mean, of course, we have the Poirier news and all that, but like the big one was Nunes. Like, nobody.
Yeah, I mean, Oliveira beating Poirier. I don't know if anybody was like super surprised by that one.
I knew it was going to be hard fought, but that would have been my pick if I was gun to my head, I had to choose.
I would have liked to have seen Poirier win it just because
he's a nice guy.
Historically, right, exactly. Been like a fan of his character, I guess I would say. I've never really met him or anything like that. So yeah, nothing against Oliveira either, but so congratulations to him. Hard fought way to the top now, and he's the champion. Really, really good jiu-jitsu. Like really, really good jiu-jitsu for MMA, especially. So yeah, it's nice to see a guy that can grapple, go out there and do it at a high level and win a world title. And then the ladies, Nunez versus Pena. It seemed like it was just mainly that Nunez was used to being able to just eventually keep hitting people and they would fall down, and Pena wasn't falling
just
down.
Not like when you throw the kitchen sink at somebody and then they're still standing there.
Kept coming. And then at a certain point towards the end, she started beating her to the punch with a jab. Pena started beating Nunez with a jab, and she was moving her head off to the side, and it wasn't maybe the most beautiful example of a jab and head movement that you've ever seen if you're like a boxing aficionado of any sort, or even
it was working though.
But head was off the center line. The punch caught the person who was leaving their head on the center line flush and was beating her to the punch, and it wore her out, mentally and physically, and I think she got her to a spot to where she just didn't have an answer, and that's why she gave up that really, like, it seemed like not even a great choke that she tapped to, but I think she just understood it was inevitable at that point that she was about to get finished and get hurt probably pretty bad if she kept going.
She kept trying to fight through it. Yeah.
So that's the thing with fighting, man. And I guess that goes back into a little bit about what we were saying about the combine stuff earlier. It's not always the person that can do stats or look the most technical or beautiful and graceful and all that kind of stuff that's the best. Sometimes that weirdness is enough to get you over. Now, will that be something that can sustain a run at the top forever. I don't know. Who knows? But it was enough Saturday night to win a world title.
Well, and speaking of weird, didn't Ryan Hall win a decision?
Yeah, but that dude, I'm not sure if he was really somebody that was like the best in the world kind of person either. It's a good win for Ryan.
You're talking about top of the heat,
a good fighter, a good quality. No disrespect to that man whatsoever, but for Ryan Hall, it wasn't the kind of like level fighter that we hope that he would still be fighting and getting wins over and stuff like that. So good win, saw some good stuff from him, but again, it's like I think just needs more for MMA to be the guy in MMA. And I think people still don't realize that about.
How old is he now?
I don't know.
He's been fighting for a minute.
Yeah, he's been popular for a while and through Jiu Jitsu and stuff. So that's the thing is I don't know, how to say that to a lot of people, but it's hard. Fighting's hard. MMA's hard. And it's a different sport. And so you don't really develop the same way through being an MMA fighter as you would through doing just jiu-jitsu or whatever. And so it's not saying either one's better or worse for you. It's whichever one.
36.
Yeah. So at this point, it's unlikely he's going to be able to develop the skills, like I said, to compete at the highest level.
You can't grow. It's like trying to learn a new language when you're 40. It's not impossible, but
trying to become a better wrestler or a good enough striker to force the grapples with guys that are really good athletes that
already,
exactly. And that's all they've been doing. Then that's what they want to do.
They came out of the box that way.
So, it's tough road. It's the evolution of the sport in a lot of ways for MMA, but it's still a fight. It's still a fight. And there's so much unpredictability in the fight that it makes it really hard. Even if you're really good, that if a person does something weird or that you're not ready for or whatever, and you get dinged one good time, that's likely all it'll take to change the whole like mode of the fight. And you're now basically done.
You have to play safe.
Yeah. And and it's hard to play safe at a certain point, once somebody's gotten a couple shots in on you. I think people judge. And this is another thing, like it's easy to say from the outside what somebody should and shouldn't have done or what they could and couldn't have done. And maybe, her preparation was lacking, whatever you could say about Nunez to take, some whatever away from the win or whatever from Pena, or to give some stuff back to, I don't know, whatever that's for, to say she wasn't really prepared for it. But the fact of the matter is like once you go out there and you get hit several times and you're also out there, like she was throwing full tilt like strikes at Juliana and getting jabbed right before she thought she was going to connect.
Yeah.
And if you've never spent any time in a situation like that, you should. But if you want to comment on it, I think a lot of times because it's a weird situation where your mind and your body aren't really always doing what you are saying, even in your mind to do. You know what you're supposed to do, but you can't get.
Your brain's telling it to do it, but nothing's happening.
Yeah, it's not move. You can't move. You can't make yourself do it. Even
throw a right hand and your right hand doesn't move.
Exactly. move feet, and it's like which one?
And you and then that's when you see somebody who's a professional athlete just like fall over.
They look off balance or whatever and stuff because it's just a thing that people, you're getting, hit in the head. You're getting a mini concussion every time somebody lands a decent shot on you. It rattles your brain a little bit. And so, especially if I'm coming, like this is the thing, I'm coming forward to throw a really hard strike at you. Okay. That's tons of my momentum, right? Everything's coming forward, but you now beat me to the punch, like straight before I get to unload. Bam. So now my momentum forward is meeting your momentum coming forward, and you're not ready to be hit right now. So that adds so many levels to the strike that again, you may not understand from the outside looking in. It may look like, oh, that wasn't that much, but you do that 2 or 3 or 4 times in a row, it really starts more than the cardio even, and more than like like a quitter's mindset kind of way. Like you can't think of a way out of it. You can't figure out how to get out. You know what I mean?
You get tunnel vision.
You can't, it's not that you're quitting. Like you just literally can't compute a way to do anything else.
Because your brain's flickering.
And it's, I don't know. I think a lot of that is why I don't watch a ton of MMA anymore, is because I do enjoy the sport and I do enjoy watching fighting and stuff like that. But I think the way that people from the outside see it really, I don't know, as a sport, it doesn't, I don't know. I don't like a lot of the opinions from people who aren't, you know, educated in a real way of the sport. You know what I mean? Where you've not dealt with some of those situations on your own up front and handled that stuff. It's tough, man. And so that's why I really do my best to never like trash a fighter, especially somebody that's at a higher level like that, making it to the UFC, you know. And if I have done that a lot of times, if I felt myself doing that, some kind of like bitterness or something like that from ego or whatever, me wanting more for myself or whatever, then it was really deserving of hating on that person. So once I've gotten to that point, man, it's just hard. It's hard having discussions with people, because even people that are like into martial arts sometimes will say things about people being quitters, or like, you know, whatever about how their preparation was or what they should do with their whole entire life now or whatever, because they had one bad night, and stuff like that. So it's tough, man. Fighting's a brutal existence, man. It's not fun unless you're really into it, you know. And then even day to day, it's not the most fun thing to do. But
it's monotonous.
It's something that
for the most part
you're passionate about and you really believe in and you want to do. So you're willing to go through all that stuff for it. So I really don't spend a ton of time watching a lot of the UFC stuff anymore. Like I said, I do enjoy some of the bigger fights, and then if it's somebody that I know that's in there, then I'll definitely make sure that I'm more into it and tuning into it. But overall, man, it's still, you know, it's not even necessarily who's the best fighter all the time either. It's all matchup based, and then and it's all what's the word? Like entertainment value or whatever, you know. And
they're gonna go for the ticket sellers.
They can pad records. They can give matchups to people that look like this or sound like that, because they're the ones that put out. It's like if you own the newspaper, you can say whatever you want. You know, if nobody can fact check you, if there's no internet, you can say whatever you want. You know,
the crowds are more educated than they ever were.
They are, but you can still, from the, it doesn't really matter though. To the outside looking in, you still have a guy that's 10-0. That's still 10-0, even if it was a 10-0.
Yeah. I get what you're saying there.
You got this guy that you like a lot, and so you find the matchups for him that are always in his favor. You know,
he's the little bit taller guy.
They want to give him, or he's the, you know, the grappler on the grappler. So you know the one guy's the much better grappler, or the guy like has no stand up and he can't wrestle. But this guy, so he's got.
Here's a D1 wrestler.
Stuff like that.
So I've never even felt that takedown before.
Stuff like that, and that happens in the UFC a lot, even especially at the lower levels of stuff.
I think that's the part that gets ignored a lot, is that everybody only pays attention to the very top, like 2%.
Yeah, for sure.
Nobody pays attention to the fact that, like, no. Like, there's guys out there. There's probably more, but I mean, like, making more. But I mean, a couple of years ago, I knew guys that were like making like 5 and 5, like $5,000, like $10,000 to show up on a UFC card.
Oh yeah, like, I think it's 10 and 10 now.
That's why I think it went up.
But again, I don't know.
And that's not a lot of money.
That's not a lot of money, and it's not. Yeah. And so, and that's not even necessarily the point I'm making, because that's what I'm saying. If you're choosing to do that, then you shouldn't be doing it.
No, there's no for the riches. Yeah,
you're doing it for a different reason. And if you get towards where you can start making the money, then that's where that should be a priority for you. But if that's what you're looking for solely, it's going to be hard. Like, unless you are already living a very, very, very hard life to get to the point to where you want to fight to have a better life. Yeah, I don't think people get that. So
and there's guys out there that's the biggest conversation I've heard, is like the people that are coming from other countries, other settings. Like, you got guys coming from, I mean, Ngannou, like guys like that live those existences. Okay, you want to put me in a cage with another human being?
Yeah, I mean, they just Yeah, they fight their entire lives. They're from a militant, not even necessarily in a negative way fully, but
just had to fight their life.
you have to you have a rough existence, you
Yeah.
know, and that's what makes tough fighters though. That's what makes a lot of tough people in a lot of ways.
I love the
Is-
stories
is-
out of the
is
fighters because of
the-
what makes somebody do that. What made you do that?
Man, I just needed something to do. I needed to go somewhere. And then honestly, like my entire life, I just wanted to be a great fighter. Like it seemed like a honorable thing to me and my family. It seemed like a thing that my daddy represented to like a lot. You know, that he represented or respected people that were good fighters, and that was a thing that he was respected for in the community. That's what I heard a lot about and stuff. So
He's a tough guy.
to me, that was a thing that gained the respect that you got in life. You know, without having money, like didn't have any money. But nobody ever said anything about that stuff. All I ever heard was, how tough he was, how good he could fight, how all that kind of stuff was, and about my family and stuff. So it's like, as a kid, it was like, all right, then, well, then this is what men do. This is what the real men do to get respect. Unless you already have like money or something like that people will be cool with you about or whatever, then you just can fight and people will respect that because nobody will mess with you or whatever. And I heard at a young age too, some dudes were like trying to do something, or some dude was talking some trash to me and I beat him up. And then he went over to his friends and they were like, nah, man, you're on your own with that one, Steven. Like he beat up such and such too. So like, we're not messing with him or whatever. He's cool.
There's a way to protect yourself.
And I was like, all right, then.
Yourself, yeah.
So then I realized that was a thing I could do. And so then it just became a thing. And so then finally, like when I was old enough, that's what I said, the leaving home story. I was like 25 or 6, I guess, like late 2007, early 2008. It's just like, F it, I'm going. I'm going to see what I always said. If I had the opportunity to be a good fighter, boxer, professional wrestler, like it iterated itself several times. It used to be like professional wrestler or boxer or whatever. And then none of that ever was gonna become an opportunity. And so then the chance to go train MMA or whatever came up, and it seemed legit, and it turned out to be moderately legit. You know what I mean? It wasn't
especially for the time.
Yeah, no, the training was legit, but I'm just saying the situation was tough.
Mm-hmm.
It still wasn't an easy. It was like a harder even situation than I was in before, probably. But
often the case.
I think that made it better because then that's all I could focus on. I think the environment that we lived in San Bernardino was pretty dangerous. At least it seemed that way on the outside. So that forced me in to stay in and like be safe and not go out in the streets and run around and get involved with anything that was going to get me in trouble or any people that would get me in trouble. No clubs, no bars, no any stuff like that. So it took me away from a lot of the stuff that was going to get me in out of the lifestyle that I needed to be in. And it forced me to kind of play it smarter. So, I mean, that's why I kept doing it, is because I realized that, this is going to be something for me. And if not, then I don't know what else to do, but this is the only thing that's like giving me like direction to stop wanting those other things so much. Yeah. So for me, it was just from a lack of whatever. And I think, I've said it in other ways. And so this could be just like some weird, I don't know. It's not weird, I guess. It's not weird at all. I shouldn't even say it's weird, but it's from like a lack of love or lack of perceived love. That is what it came from. And that's what it was for. And was to get more of, was to receive love and respect from people that I guess I wanted it from.
Yeah. you thought that, this is how I'm going to acquire that from these people and then get
So eventually they'll all love me and think I'm cool and respect me and take me in or whatever and stuff like that, and to a degree it definitely did that. It definitely provided a lot of that for me. But at the end of the day, it provided me with a way to know that I could just like love myself, and that was going to be enough of the way. Right. And then other people would attach to that. The right people would attach to that.
Like to not gloss over that. Like, how did fighting translate into that for you? Like, was it the fights themselves? Was it the training? Was it the people you met? Like,
I mean, a combination of all those things, right? Yeah. There was a lot of like, I mean, the people, but then the experiences, and then some of the loneliness and being there by myself, but still like and I may have spoken with you about this before, but like still one of the weirdest like things ever to me was like I just had this really cool experience. I just won this really great fight. Uh, feeling really good. Took some shots or whatever, but overall really good. But I had some lumps or whatever, maybe even had gotten cut. But we left the venue, which was like over here on this corner, drove across the street to this convenience store, and walked in, and people were just looking at me like I'm some kind of like hideous creature or whatever, and I couldn't figure it out. And so realizing then, it's like, damn, man, that still doesn't. It's still not gonna do it, even to not to everybody. Like you can go over there and like all those people were cheering for me, they're screaming my name. People had shirts with my name on it and all that stuff. Immediately left and came across the street. And nobody in that store gave a shit. They all thought I was some kind of weirdo that was like bleeding on myself in the convenience store. Meanwhile, I'm just all like excited and stuff, happy and proud of myself or whatever. So that was like stuff, situations like that, like arm me with the strength to know that, man, it's not even going to do it. Like, that's not going to even do it. And then having conversations with people that pointed it out to me that that's what that was. Cause even when that happened, I didn't know, that was what that was.
It took hindsight.
Someone else,
what that was too,
had that conversation with me. It's like, what is it that you're looking for? Cause I didn't want to quit. I didn't want to stop. Everyone never, I still don't want to stop. I wish I could still fight sometimes, like physically and be in good shape and handle it and not take brain trauma and stuff like that from it. I still want to do it. But it's still because I think I still attach so much of myself to that character of the fighter, of the person that's out there, striving and, doing my best and trying to win, man. Go out here and trying to win. I still want to be the best, and it didn't really ever develop that way for me as a fighter or as a jiu-jitsu competitor or whatever. But I think the effort that I put in to try to be that person got me to be the person that I am now.
It's almost like the journey was the point.
The path is the goal, man. So that's what I'm saying. It's, like, it's weird. Like I wanted so many things that I didn't get. I wanted more than I ever got in a lot of ways, but then I also got a lot more than I wanted in a lot of ways. And that's the balance, right? It made itself work out. Some of the things that I didn't get led its way to something that was better, because if I would have got the one thing I wanted, I would have never fell to the opportunity to get to a better spot, because I quote fell to a lower rung of some sort. So the experiences of being out there and really doing it, like, and really, really, really doing it, and not trying to be half-hearted about it, and not like people talk about being a fighter or whatever, but like I really was about it, man. Like it's hard to say now. It feels like, for me, it feels like it's hard for me to say that kind of stuff now when people are training or whatever, because of the way that I have to train now, because of some of the injuries and different things over the years, being older than I was and all that stuff. But yeah, man, I used to bring it like all the time, and that was the identity that I needed to have to get myself over all those humps. But then, slowly, like I said, as the fighting got taken away, that question got asked, why do you need it so much? What is it? Because you can get stuff otherwise, or you've already done all these things. There's so much that I've already done that was more than that's what I'm saying. Like when I first started training, I never thought I'd be a pro fighter. Not really.
Right.
Like not for real. And then
it was just a thing.
Yeah, it's like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna show people. I'm gonna prove people whatever. And then once I got out there, I was like, I need it. I need to be the best that I can.
Did they really have amateur ranks when you were?
No.
It was just
so I fought
pro.
I fought one smoker in the gym when I trained for about maybe 6 months. And the dude was a purple belt allegedly.
Allegedly.
I no clue.
Yeah.
No clue. Honestly,
back in the day, bro, that you had all kinds of stuff.
That's I had no clue.
Or they could be a stud.
I had no clue whatsoever. But that's what I was told. Really boring split decision loss in the dude's gym. He was from that gym, lost the decision to him. Really boring fight. Coach said, "Hey, that's probably good enough to get you in some low level pro fights. You need money." I did. It's true. I did need money, even if it was only $200. So took a fight for like $200. Won that fight. Took another fight shortly after for a couple $100. Won that fight. Got out for the Den 7 fight. Fought that fight. Didn't really get beat up. Could have won if I was smarter, like more experienced. Even
Learn,
like if I knew more. What I learned from that fight, I could have beat him if we fought again the next time, because I didn't. I learned how to do an underhook from the bottom to get up.
In the
after that fight,
learning super basic stuff against somebody who's quote unquote a legend.
Knows all that stuff very, very well. And so my coach was like, all you gotta do is get this underhook and you can get up. And I was like, wow, dude.
Having white belt to blue belt moments.
That's how I got my blue belt.
Yeah.
That's how I got it, though.
Yeah.
I came home and lost the decision to him. He couldn't finish me. He couldn't beat me up. So my coach, Tom, was like, no, you're not a white belt. You can't do that as a white belt. Nobody that's a white belt can do that. And I was like, oh, dope, cool.
Turns out you're a blue
belt. Still trash. Still super trash. But on my way, right? So that's what I'm saying. I fought that fight for the most money I'd ever been offered for probably anything in my life that was legal. Like $1,500, I think, total to do it. And I was like, wow, this is it. I'm on my way, baby. And then everything dried up immediately after that. No more opportunities out in California. Nobody wanted to fight me. Nobody wanted to pay me to come fight.
Because you were going to be hard.
Yeah, I ruined it for myself, man. I was too tough for my own good. I wanted to fight the best people that I could, or anybody that wanted to fight me. Like, oh, you think you can beat me up? Okay, I'll fight you. And then it became a thing to where maybe I wish I had somebody that would have managed me a little bit more heavy-handed. But I didn't have anybody that was able to do that. Maybe people tried to that were around.
Well, I've seen that go south too. I've seen people get people that managed them, and then they managed them out of being a fighter.
Well, some people, I tried to get a manager one time and he messed it up. And so that's that kind of soured me on that. But then I'm talking about coaches even that I wish I would guided. I wish I would have been more manageable to them.
Listened.
Because maybe. I thought I knew a lot more than I did at a certain point because it was working for me, and so so that's what I say. Is I wish I would have listened a little bit more to some stuff. It would have been easier for me in some ways, and I wouldn't have taken a couple fights maybe if somebody would have stopped in and said, yeah, you can beat this person, but there's no reason to do this right now for this amount of money, without whatever, just and really guiding me a little bit clearer, because for me, it really was still just like an honor contest until I was done. Basically, it's like, oh, you want to fight? I mean, I guess so. Yeah, we said it now.
You were anywhere, any place.
Yeah, it's like $500. It's like, I don't really want to do it for $500, man. Well, that's all they're offering. You're not
you're
expletive.
not selling tickets.
You're not an expletive for a female, are you?
That's a weird argument, because they're like, you're not selling tickets. It's like, yeah, but I'm risking body and limb for entertainment.
I'm not purposely or physically selling tickets or whatever, but your show is gonna be better because that's on there, and people will buy tickets to it
because I'm fighting another guy. Yeah,
right. So unless which like it was a lot of times, I was the person that drove over or came over to fight your guy. And in which case you need to pay me, man. Yeah. You need to pay me.
Which then you're fighting the whole venue. You're fighting. That's what I mean. You're fighting him.
I did that, dude. I did that joke a bunch of times, man.
Same. That's my whole career was fighting guys that was like, oh, okay, now I'm fighting the ref. I'm fighting the judges. I'm fighting.
And I was here for it though. That was like a badge. That was a badge of honor for me. I love that. I fought better that way. I felt like
be the guy coming in.
It didn't happen for me as a overall plan to take all the fights that I took. I should have.
Well, do you think that's the smart plan, even if the dude's a stud? Like, if say you have the next John Jones, do you think the smart thing is, and he wrecks everybody, do you think the smart thing is to take him into these shows that he doesn't have something or she slanted into their favor?
No, I mean, that's the thing is if
everybody's doing it,
the favor, you want to have the promotion in your pocket.
If you're trying to be the best in the world.
You want to, yeah, of course, it's part of the game.
Yeah,
that's part of the gig. And if you have the promotion, you get the matchups. Even at the lower level is way worse, way worse.
Oh, bro.
Beginner, pro for sure, low and amateur is just disgusting a lot of times.
Oh man.
But low level pros too, the matchups are just wildly mismatched.
Guys and 0-1 versus 9-2.
The matchmaker doesn't even know though. It's you're a warm body. What's your record? Okay, that's close to this guy's record, but then their records are not this 1-0 and this
guy's dropping in
1-1 is different.
Yeah,
this 1-0 is a national champion 2 or 3 times or whatever, and this guy's 1-1 and he beat his homie in a fight and then lost in 10 seconds to a guy.
Yeah,
by rear naked choke.
Yeah.
Or whatever, you know, and it's
Yeah.
like, but he's 1-1. He's got 2 pro fights. This guy's only got 1 pro fight. So that makes it fair. It does. That's what they say. So
that's what they say.
That's what
And
they
they
say.
and they weigh within
And you can
close
justify
to the same.
that, right, and the arbitrary weight that we agreed on. So MMA's got a lot of stuff that could be done better. Am I the one that can do it all better? No. That's why I don't really bitch about it. I just let everybody have it.
It needs to be a conversation, though. I don't think enough people talk about it.
I mean, it's not for me though. What am I going to do? That's what I mean. I'm not really worried about it. It's not going to change my career. It's not going to make me better in my life any better at this point, but I do guide you guys.
I was gonna say future students, it'll help.
I mean, but that's what you get. You know the advice I give you on it. You've heard it, and so it's not different than what we just talked about. It's consistently the same. To where, like, if you need it and you got to have it, fine. Like, let's do it. I hope you do it the best way possible. But I would really caution anybody that's not in a position to really go all in and be willing to lose everything to not do it.
Yeah.
You know, because like you got to be willing to lose it all to do it. You got to double, triple down on yourself every time. You got to be selfish, and you got to be only worried about yourself most of the time. Even if you're in a relationship with people or whatever it is, it's hard. It's hard to be that person unless you are that person already or need to be that person some other way. So I just kind of caution people against it as an overall life goal, unless you, like I said, unless you just need it. And I needed it. That's why I say that. Maybe if somebody could have given me what we're available to do through jiu-jitsu now, earlier on, or if I'd have even known what that was earlier on, I could have or would have done something different a little bit in that way too, but it wasn't, and I didn't. And so just like I said, it's just,
do you think the itch of like trying to go that 1 inch further though would have still existed, even if you had come up all jiu-jitsu, none of the fighting stuff, and then the fighting stuff still existed, but you would come up through the jiu-jitsu? Would you not still want to like maybe see it a little further? Because I mean, you're still drawn to like combat jiu-jitsu, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think maybe to a degree, yes. But then the longevity
might have been a little
of that lifestyle.
The training wouldn't have taken so much of a toll.
I could have my brain, my head, and I wouldn't have been cut so many times or whatever, and different things. You know, like my body would have been better had I lived a jiu-jitsu lifestyle more instead of a fighter's lifestyle
MMA,
more,
which is very different.
Yeah, definitely.
The jiu-jitsu guy and the MMA guy are very, very different people. Yeah.
And it's not saying anything about either one.
No, nothing's negative or positive, but
personally, I wish I would have had a different style upbringing in that way, but I did not have access to it. It did not exist here. It didn't exist here.
Did it really exist anywhere back then? 2007, 2008? Was it growing?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. There was pockets of it. So people would come at me and be like, oh, you could have went here, which was a city an hour and a half or 2 hours away, or you could have went to Atlanta, which is 3 hours away. It's like, yeah, I could have, but I was effing poor and didn't have a car that would work and like had nothing else and didn't know anybody in any of those places. And so I didn't even know it existed in those places, to be honest with you, until after the fact, until after I'd already left and started doing it. And then was coming back some and was like, oh, there's a couple random places.
Well, I think some of the top guys in the world too forget that it still exists. I mean, it's like I was watching the Dream Show or whatever while I was editing it, and the conversation I was having with Lorenzo, like other half of that conversation he and I were having off camera was like him talking about some of his first experiences, like coming to the U.S. trying to fight MMA, and it's just like what you hear about guys talking about that was going on in 2002, 2003, of like guys trying to feed you, and they're like, oh, here's a guy that doesn't really understand the system. Here's a guy we're trying to push out. Like it's interesting.
The athletic looking dude versus our guy, you know?
Right? So, it'll make our guy look good, but yeah.
So there's a lot of that stuff, and you know, like I said, so you know, that's a wild tangent to go down. But I think a lot of times if you can get to the root of it, and it's not necessarily that you have this skill set that immediately will transfer over, you know, and that's the thing, right? I think honestly the best ones have that elite skill set in something already. Still, there's still not that guy who's come through that was just like, oh, this MMA guy is just so elite. Besides maybe like Demetrius Johnson or somebody. Everybody else has some other. I mean,
even then, he was still kind of specialized as far as
he did a lot of wrestling and different
I was gonna say beforehand.
So there's not very many like 20 somethings that jump in it with a chance anymore without a background. There's the outliers that can do it, but not at the highest level.
Yeah, but do you not think that you have a whole generation of guys that are coming up that started MMA when they were 14?
That's what I'm saying. This is why I think that the 25-year-olds now, If you jump into it,
yeah.
like when I started at 25 versus when somebody now 13
like
years
today,
later or whatever.
If you're 29 years old and you're like, I want to become the UFC world champion, you're like, ooh, that's gonna be a long. Yeah, luck. You already got 10 years.
You better have already been in something because you've seen NFL guys come over.
Athlete,
you've seen a lot of
and like, NFL guys that haven't been able.
That's
to
what
cut
I mean.
It.
Like you've seen like really like athlete guys who are the ones that should quote be able to come over and do well, not in various ways.
Asking for inhalers in the corner.
It's tough. It's a different thing. It's a different thing, man. Yeah. And that's, I guess, to circle it all back to it. That's why if you've never been in there, man, it's super hard to take your opinion like to heart. Because like I hear you, and I love you all so much for your opinions and what you think about martial arts as a whole.
Hey, fans make the world.
That's what I mean. But if you've never been stuffed into the cage wall and you feel like part of your head being dented by the cage panel, like the chain link part of it or whatever.
Oh, and then here comes his fist again.
And somebody's punching and elbowing you, and then they're meanwhile smashing their fingers into your face, and you taste blood, and that's your blood. And then,
or maybe some of theirs.
It could be, but it's also like in your eye now, and different things like that, you know, and stuff like that. And you're tired. Of course, you're tired. But what do you know? Until you felt that a couple of times, it's really hard to say how somebody should react.
You might have lost 30 pounds yesterday.
Maybe you messed up along the way, and that's fair. That's fair to say, right? People make mistakes, but this is one night, one fight. It's hard for me to say someone's just like blanket something because of whatever they did or they had a bad night or whatever. So that's why it's hard for me to get into a lot of like heavy MMA conversations with people who aren't also fighters or haven't fought, at least at some level, some even just like the most minimal level,
had a smoker
whatsoever. That's what I mean. It's like, dude, you understand.
You've been punched in the face.
And even like grappling, jiu-jitsu guys or whatever, still who haven't really fought. Like if you ever done like some of that like that or whatever, then it's still not quite the same thing. You know, like it's still not quite the same thing. So with all due respect to everyone everywhere, MMA is hard, man. It's the hardest thing ever. I don't know, like jiu-jitsu is so much more fun because you don't have to get hit and kicked and elbowed and kneed over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, so, it's hard to keep your body put together, especially in that training.
That's a hard life. That's what I mean. Day to day or whatever, you're slamming yourself into another person's body or padded version of another person's body over and over and over again. Yeah, no, I'm saying so like, but that's what you do. And that's your life day in and day out. So, yeah. So, MMA fighters are some of the baddest people in the world. Any of the higher level people could have a bad day. But as soon as you start getting that nose and mouth and chin hit 2 or 3 times, the thoughts that start going through your mind, it's a little bit weird, man. That's all I'm saying is like your mind will do some weird stuff once you start getting punched in the mouth a couple of times and you don't have an answer for it. Like you think you have an answer, but the answer is not there. That starts really messing with you a lot. So I recommend everybody tries it once or don't, probably. Either way. What were you about to say?
No, I was laughing.
Or don't, train or don't, but yeah. Anything you got coming in hot?
I'm full-fledged training for PGF. So.
Full-fledged training for PGF. What's that mean? Flying elbows?
Yeah.
Flying
all
bolos?
Kinds of weird science. I know I sent you some stuff that probably made you giggle.
Flying bolos.
Hey, I have white belts in there inventing moves off of my move.
Here we go.
That means it sucks. I don't know. It was cool.
It's called half guard. Okay. It's called half guard. If you change your legs from lockdown to the other side, that's just called regular half guard, guys.
21 days.
Yeah.
3 weeks.
Full Nelson.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So we got all these things coming up.
PGF
season 3, January 9th through the 15th. Both myself and Isaac will be there. He will be competing. I will be talking a lot. So if you like that, tune in. And if you don't, you're going to learn to love it. Because
I would imagine if they're this deep in this conversation, they're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. And so then after that, Mid-South Classic, January 29th, purple belts, open weights, championships, $2,000.
We've already got a deep list. When are you closing
20
the
of
list?
them. Oh, I think almost now it's closed, and I'm just waiting to sort out who's going to.
You haven't heard from anybody? Okay.
Yeah, that got 20. And so if anybody else that's right, if you're really good and you think you're dope, shoot me a message. Let me know. Tell your boys or somebody it's $2,000, purple belts or under, open weight. Let's get it. Musgrove Trial Firm 678-226-1994. And that's all we got right now, man. Anybody else needs to jump in? Y'all need to help us out. I don't even have any water to drink today because nobody's giving me any. I'm dying over here. Literally. So, yeah. Much love. Peace. Is this a good pose?
Yeah, we'll call it good.
Is the music playing?
Now it is.
Okay.
5, 4, 3,